So is the 2020 Shelby GT500 so good that it's eliminating the need for the Shelby GT350 and GT350R? That's what we're going to talk about today, so let's get started. But if you're new here, I'm Kevin. Welcome to Real Steel Cars, where we talk about all the automotive news, trends, and everything in between. So if you just like talking about cars, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any new videos. Alright, so the 2020 Shelby GT500 is causing quite the uproar. It is a jack of all trades, so no longer is it the straight line car, but now it can take corners. We already know the Shelby GT500 is the fastest and most powerful Mustang Ford has ever made. It does 0 to 100 and back to 0 in 10.6 seconds. It has 760 horsepower and a lightning fast dual clutch transmission. Now it is a little heavy at just over 4,200 pounds, but then again, that is due to the DCT, the multiple radiators, the supercharger, and every other freaking thing they had to do to keep this thing running cool and consistent. Now Ford has made an emphasis on saying that this car is no longer a one-trick pony. Historically speaking, the GT500 has always been the straight line car. The GT350 has always been the track car. Even in recent past, the GT500 was very fast in a straight line, but not so great in the corners. But that's why they came out with cars like the Boss 302 and the Shelby GT350 and GT350R. They were track-built cars with high revving, naturally aspirated motors. This was their mainstay. This was what they were meant to do. But now Ford built a car that does both. It has 760 horsepower and it can take corners. So it makes me wonder if the Shelby GT350 even has a place in the lineup anymore. Now the GT500 and GT350 are pretty close in price. The GT500 is a little bit more, but for a little bit more, you could have both the handling and the power. So my big question is, do you think that the GT350 even has a place anymore? Is the GT500 going to pretty much eliminate the need for it, or is this part of Ford's plan? Because the next model year for the GT350R is getting steering and handling components from the new GT500, which just tells you how good the GT500 is. So if you're using parts off of it to make the GT350R better, is it still the ultimate track car? Now, the one thing I believe the GT350 is going to have an advantage over the 500 is it is a couple 100 pounds lighter, so it may still be a better track car. But for a more overall car, the GT500 is pretty amazing. Now, if you check all the option boxes, the $18,000 carbon fiber track pack and everything else under the sun, you can come in at a little over $100,000. And I think it's totally worth it because of everything this car can do. Now, I know there's people saying, oh, $100,000 for a Mustang is absolutely outrageous. Well, for a Mustang, yes. But for a Shelby GT500 that can do everything from running sub 11 second quarter mile times to taking corners as well as a GT350, I would say it's pretty well worth the money. Now, one thing I wanted to touch on is everyone saying, get the track pack, get the track pack, get the carbon fiber wheels, lighten the car up. And that's great if you're going to track the car. If you plan on driving this on the street, you might want to slow down a little bit and rethink that option. Now, there's a lot of people that have those carbon fiber wheels on their GT350R, and they've all damaged them on the street. They're not meant for the city street potholes and the work zones and the torturous roads that we drive on. They're all getting cracked and chipped and damaged, and they are not cheap to replace. So if you're going to drive the car on the street, I don't think the track pack is a good idea. Yes, it lightens the car up, but if you're not going to be 100% honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm going to track the car, I'm taking it on road courses on a regular basis, you might not want to do that. And if you do, you might want to get a separate set of wheels for the street. I've watched multiple YouTube videos of guys with GT350Rs who have destroyed their carbon fiber wheels just by driving it on the street. Not even I'm not talking like running through crater-sized potholes, but even the slightest little potholes you come across, or you hit a crack in the road the wrong way, those carbon fiber wheels are getting damaged, and again, they're thousands of dollars to replace. So if I was trying to spec out a GT500, I would definitely go with the base model. Save yourself the money from the track pack. It is a great idea, but if you're using it on the street, probably not so much. So let me know down below if you would opt for the track pack and go with the carbon fiber wheels, or if you kind of agree with the fact that it's probably not a great idea for the street. All right, with all that being said, let's touch on our little bit of mini news. Now, this one's kind of interesting because it's not verified. It's a lot of confusion actually. The CEO at Tesla is posting tweets that the new Model S is the fastest four-door around the Nürburgring. He's literally making posts about setting a new four-door record. Saying it's a second faster than the last record holder and all this stuff. But the thing is, the Nürburgring never gave him track time to even attempt a record-breaking run. He's doing all this with what he calls an amateur driver and all this other stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. So he's making claims to a record that isn't even official. I don't know what's going on. Nobody else seems to know what's going on, but he seems to be pretty determined to let people know that the Model S is the fastest four-door out there. Now, I understand you want to break records and you want to say you're the fastest car, but to make posts saying that you've broken the record when you haven't, and the track hasn't even given you the time to which to make these attempts, it makes me wonder, like, what is this guy thinking? Like, why would you go through all this trouble, like get the official okay from the Nürburgring to attempt a record-breaking run? I have no idea where this guy's head is right now, but apparently he's real determined to get this record. All right, that's all I got right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, and I'll catch you guys next time.